I looked at a couple of different universities that I was interested in. And when I came around and had a look at the open day, the staff were really friendly and it was really informal, where when I'd gone round to visit other universities, it was very formal. It wasn't far away from home, so it still meant that I could keep my part-time job and still be a mom and still do the things that were really important instead of completely changing my life to do something that I've wanted to do for a long time. It just meant that I could carry on with my life. I didn't have to uproot everybody just because I wanted to complete a degree. That I could still have my support network around me. I still had my friends. I could still take the children to swimming lessons and do all those things that were really important for me to maintain, but still have a bit for myself and still go and do a degree. So it was really important. And obviously I could drive in, but I could take the train as well. So I could study on the train on the way here and study on the train on the way back. So then when I got home, I didn't do any studying. So it was really helpful that it was really close. I've got 4 children and I'm married. So it would have meant my oldest child had just started secondary, well, he was going into secondary, finishing his junior school, and my youngest daughter, she's now 5, she was just starting preschool and school, so we would have to uproot all of them. And also my husband has got a job in Workington, so he would have had to go off and get another job just to allow me, or if I was feeling of going to the next university that was closest to us, it still would have been at least an hour and a half drive, and that's not including like busy times and things. So that would have meant that I wouldn't have been in their lives as much, and it meant that because the lectures were started a little bit later, I could take the children to school and then come and do my lecture and then come back to pick them up. So it didn't really interfere too much in me doing the things that were important. So it would have been a very big upheaval if we'd had to move or if I'd had to travel further. The staff have been really helpful. They were really friendly. I could go to them over anything. You were assigned a PAT that's a lecturer that you can go to and talk about anything or anything that's worrying you, anything about the course, whether you're managing the workload okay. But we were allowed to go to any lecturer that we wanted to, given what it was to do with our topic. But we also could go, they knew us. In other universities that my friends have gone to, they're like one of hundreds and they don't know the names, where if you come in and maybe you're having a difficult day, they know and they're like, oh, Nichola, do you want to have a talk, or do you know? And it's been the same for all of us in my cohort, that if we've had a particularly bad day or somebody's struggling, they can easily go up to the lecturer and the lecturer will talk to them. So I think that the fact that it's not been far away, that the staff have been so helpful, that the class sizes were smaller, so it allowed me to have more one-to-one, made the transition to uni much more easy. I think when I first decided to do a degree and I first started my first year, there was a quote that I read and it said, is it the illness that someone has is not important, it's the person who has the illness that's important. And I would probably say, when I thought about the University of Cumbria, it's not about the degree that I have, but it's about me having my degree. And it was very personalised. It was very, there's lots of people that take degrees every single day and they make those decisions, but going to the University of Cumbria, I had more of a personalised experience. It suited me, it fit in with me. I could go, things were available to me, so it was more of a personalised thing than just going through an institution to get my degree. I've just finished a couple of weeks ago. I handed in my last work and everything, so I've completed my 3 years of a full-time degree and I've come out with a first, so I'm very happy about that, in occupational therapy. It was a huge achievement and I'm very proud of the fact that I've come out with such a good degree. But I definitely think that I wouldn't have come out with such a degree if it hadn't been for the university and the support it offers. Just because everyone has been so supportive, and even when you go through times where you're struggling with things, everyone's been very helpful. So I definitely think that, given the fact that I've worked right through my degree, I've carried on with my responsibility as a parent and trying to fit in degree life, I think it has been challenging, but I'm very, very pleased that I've come out with a first. I was scared about how I was going to fit everything in, whether I'd made the right decision. I decided to take a full-time degree there was an opportunity. I could have also took a part-time degree. So I did sort of think, have I actually done the right thing? Especially when we sat in the first lecture and I was thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to manage keep coming to university each day and studying and then going home? And there was a bit of a transition period where I had to get sort of used to things. But initially I was scared and worried that had I chosen the right thing. That's the first day, that's how I felt. Yeah, it didn't take long into the first year, and then everything was easier. I was able, because of the lecture times, because of how close it was, because of the small classroom sizes, things were easier for me to be able to do things with the children and also work. So I did feel like, oh, actually, it's not as difficult as I first expected it to be. I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And even when I spoke to other people, and they just thought, well, how are you going to manage to, your children, something's going to suffer, or, how are you going to carry on doing part-time work? And occasionally I worked full-time through my degree. And people even questioned it. But when I say after a couple of months, and I was saying, well, actually, I can take the children to school, I can get on the train, do a bit of study on the train, get to my lecture, get back home, pick them up, do tea, everything that I really wanted to do. And they're like, oh yeah, so it can be done. So maybe a couple of months in, I realised that actually it can fit around my routine really well, and I can fit in what was important for me to achieve, as well as being a good mum and as well as keeping a job. At first I thought that I would maybe be like the oldest one in the class, but actually there's a range of people. There were people that just came out of school onto 18-year-olds starting a degree, and there was people much older than me that had decided to have a career change. And I think for me, during my working time, I really decided that I wanted to be an occupational therapist. So I did some open university modules. I'd already done sixth form, but a long time previous. So I did some open university modules, and they were accepted to get into the university. So it wasn't exactly the route that most people might take at the age of 18 and go and decide, oh, I'm going to do this. But the thing is, I would never have changed. I've never chosen OT if I'd done it at 18. I decided to do business at 18, and as I've grown up, I realised that I wanted to be in healthcare, and I really had a passion for that and enjoyed those kinds of things, and that being in that area. The University of Cumbria being so close and being so accessible allowed me to say, oh, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this. And it gave me the opportunity to change where I wanted to go in life. So I suppose I was very lucky that I had the opportunity that I could just do that.